it became clear that it was a conspiracy. It was not a random act of violence.
Detective Slot soon discovered the man behind the conspiracy was none other than Bart Whitaker, a son who hated his family so much he hired a hitman to kill them all. Bart had the hitman he hired shoot him to cover up his crime. In 2007, Bart was tried, convicted, and given the death penalty.
I believe, as a Christian, that God can and does forgive and change people's hearts.
Over the next 10 years, only one person fought to save his life. The father Bart tried to kill.
Bart was my last surviving member of my natural family, and nobody in my family wants to see him executed.
In February 2018, the execution date is set. Kent, now remarried, made one last desperate plea for mercy to the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles.
We're not asking them to forgive him or to let him go. We just want them to let him live.
Just 2 days before the death sentence was to be carried out, the board made its recommendation.
The recommendation for clemency.
This was the right thing to do.
But the final decision had to come from the governor. And when execution arrived, there was still no word from him. Bart Whitaker had his last meal. Kent went to see his son for the last time.
We touched hands through the glass, and we said our goodbyes.
The clock was ticking. 1 hour to go. Would it be life or death?
Now, Peter Van Sant is with us. Peter, how unusual is it to have a death sentence commuted in Texas?
It's very unusual. In fact, Texas executed 5 times as many people as the next closest state. And at the time that this appeal was made, no clemency had been granted for more than a decade.
Did Bart show any remorse for what he had done?
Well, I was in the courtroom during the actual trial, and he took the stand. He said he was sorry for what he did, but as I sat there, I felt as though it was just words. His father said during the course of his time in prison that he did change, and he believes he is remorseful. So we'll see. He's not a very sympathetic fellow. He hired someone to murder his entire family.
To have his father as his number one advocate was quite stunning.
It was great. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
And you can watch his full report on 48 Hours tomorrow at 10, 9 Central, right here on CBS.
One of the country's most high-profile scientists is paying a price over sexual misconduct allegations. Ahead, what's happening to astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson's long-running show? You're watching CBS.
I'm a do-it-yourselfer. So when I needed legal advice, I just decided to go to law school and handle it myself. Just kidding. I hated school.
If you aren't interested in becoming a lawyer yourself, call LegalZoom and we'll connect you with an actual attorney.
Moving. That's harder now because of psoriatic arthritis. But you're still moved by moments like this. Don't let psoriatic arthritis take them away. Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness and helps stop the progression of joint damage. For people with moderate to severe psoriasis, 90% saw significant improvement. Taltz even gives you a chance at completely clear.
See yourself in a whole new way. Clearer, sharper, with more style than ever. See yourself at iMart. iMart has name brand frames, glasses the same day, and of course our low price. 2 pair for $79.92, including digital lenses. Come to iMart and get your new style today.
After months of wearing only a tiger costume, we're finally going on the trip I've been promising. Because with Expedia, I saved when I added a hotel to our flight. So even when she outgrows her costume, we'll never outgrow the memory of our adventure together. Unlock savings when you add select hotels to your existing trip. Only when you book with Expedia.
It's a new year, and you deserve a new look. How can iMart help? Check this out.
Broke off, and the system is now being towed to Hawaii. The boom was trying to collect a massive area of floating trash in the Pacific the size of Texas. It's known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Carter Evans spoke with the young inventor behind the ambitious plan.
Nearly 4 months after setting sail from San Francisco, it appears the ocean may have been too much for the device designed to clean it. 24-year-old Dutch inventor Boyan Slat says the system, consisting of a massive pipe and underwater skirt, back to port after the crew discovered a nearly 60-foot section of the boom broke off.
What we saw last week is what is likely caused by what's called fatigue. Our system has been moving up and down in big waves around 1.5 million times, and that's what's likely caused this fracture. It's designed for 20 years.
We first met Slat in September, just before the launch.
Are you sure it will work?
No. That's what we'll see in the coming months, right?
The device was designed to use the wind, waves, and water currents to skim plastic off the surface and collect the trash. But by mid-December, project leaders noticed the system would sometimes travel slower than the plastic, allowing the trash to float back into the ocean. Slat says it managed to collect about 4,500 pounds of plastic in its initial run, far from his goal of about 2,200 pounds.
My hope now is that after having several months of experience and 2 failures, that they would step back and see, is there a better use for this device? Can we modify the design and use it to capture plastics before they enter the ocean?
Despite these setbacks, do you think this is still a viable system?
First of all, I think we are really quite close to making it work. I don't think we have much choice. This plastic doesn't go away by itself.
Slat says after repairs, the system should be back skimming trash from the Great Garbage Patch later this year. For CBS This Morning, Carter Evans, Los Angeles.
Let's hope that works.
Yes.
Let's hope they figure it out.
I think everybody would like to see it work.
All right, poke bowl, celery juice, and cauliflower crust pizza were some of the trendiest foods in 2018. So what are the food trends we'll see in 2019? New York Times national food correspondent Kim Severson will join us to share her predictions. Your local news is next. The time is 8:25. It's 30 degrees. A semi crashes on I-75 around 2:30 this morning, leaving 1 person dead. The semi later caught fire. Hazmat was called to the scene because the truck was leaking fuel. News Center 7 is working to learn the name of that deceased driver. A look at the scene now from our ODOT traffic camera. This is near Needmore and I-75. As you can see, traffic is moving very slowly because of that crash. The right 2 southbound lanes nearest to that truck that crashed into the wall are shut down, and they're expected to remain shut down for hours. We'll let you know when all is well again here in this area. News Center 7 meteorologist Jesse Mack has a look at our forecast coming up.
Dayton Daily News, celebrating 120 years of media journalism.
Phone number 64836
Music and dance in one night.
January 4th at 7:41 a.m. Hey, John, just to check in on this report. I hope you're doing good. Wait, have a good day. Take care. To replay, press 4. To erase, press 7. To save, press 9. To hear all message saved. There are no more messages. Main menu. To listen to your message, press 1.
Jesus Christ.
of all, think about lettuce like, oh my, what's in my bowl? So, it's kind of a mindless thing. We see lots of romaine on the salad. People are really thinking about it. So we had the health scare. So people are worried about romaine. That's got now a bad rap. And then, some food writers at New York Magazine, they called Little Gem lettuce kind of last year. So I don't know if you remember Little Gem, you see it on a lot of restaurant menus. So that's been considered passe. So now everybody's, what is the new lettuce? We have a lot of people who are doing, this is very important, what is the new lettuce? Listen, you want to be on the edge of this. There's a lot of, there's a lot of vertical and urban farms that are growing hydroponic lettuces. And so chefs are customizing the exact kind of lettuce blends they want. There's something called celtus, which is, it's actually very popular in Chinese cooking that's got a big stem and a little bit bitter top. But keep your eyes out. I don't think anybody's named the new it lettuce for 2019.
What is this, Kim, about salad robots?
Oh, yeah. Now, salad robot, which is the thing you think, oh, great, we need a salad robot. But imagine if you've ever been at an airport at midnight, or if you've had to spend time in a hospital and there's no fresh food around.
Yeah.
So this is a machine that has 10, 15 tubes, chilled tubes that are restocked during the day, and you press your order and an iPad, a bowl comes under. The lettuce or the vegetables, whatever's in your salad, drops down with the dressing, and you have a freshly made salad, which, like I say, if you've ever been anywhere midnight and everything's closed, it might work.
The moms around here are going, this would be good for like schools.
Exactly.
I mean, replacing other types of vending machines. Millennials interested in
Bless the millennials. Love them. Love the millennials.
What are they drinking?
Well, the millennials are not drinking as much as you all might.
What are they smoking?
Right. So, there's the first group that is 18 to 34-year-olds are really into less alcohol, lighter alcohol drinks, no alcohol drinks, and so a lot of bartenders are coming up with drinks that instead of
Do you know these people?
They're still asleep.
Yeah.
The idea of socializing and having cocktails that are more kind of culinary forward, so vinegar, shrubs, herbs, and instead of maybe gin, you would have Prosecco as the alcohol, or no alcohol at all, and not, we're not using the phrase mocktail anymore, which is very belittling, and hopefully they will not use Negroni or Mojito anymore. But this idea that cocktails are as much culinary as they are for the buzz. So certainly the Mad Men Manhattan era seems to be over.
Well, we've been teasing this all morning.
Yes.
I know you've been salivating thinking about this.
This gets really out of control.
Iced tea with cream cheese.
Yeah, cheese tea.
Cheese tea?
You ready for cheese tea?
I don't know. Should I be?
This is something that very popular in Taiwan, and certainly is. There are a lot of people who really like it. It's green or black tea, and it has a little cap of cream, basically cream cheese and or condensed milk, a foamy, cheesy cap that can either be salty or sweet. And you sip the tea. Now just work with me here. We've got to be open. And you sip the tea up through that cap of cream cheese, essentially. So it could be, I think that...
Have you tried this?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, listen, a lot of people who didn't grow up with bubble tea then learn to like it.
Yeah.
It may be an acquired taste. There's certainly a lot of people who absolutely love it. I think that cheese tea's biggest problem is it doesn't have a good PR agent. It needs a new name. It needs cheese tea.
Cheese tea.
You have to try it.
Well, you got me interested, I have to say.
I'll stick with a lemon wedge.
Okay, I get you.
I'm going to have a Negroni.
Yeah. It's tough times.
You're my lettuce robot right now. Good to see you, Rusin. So great to have you here. Good to have you on. Thank you. Well, Space founder Sarah Blakely is a prime example of and not afraid to take risks. Tech pioneer and philanthropist Jean Case is in the Toyota Green Room with her new book on the lessons we can all learn from leaders like Blakely. But first, a check of your local weather.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Jesse Mack. Throughout the day today, clouds expected to stick around with high temperatures climbing well above the average. You're 47 degrees for the high. Some partial clearing throughout the morning hours, but we'll see quickly return. By the time we get into the evening hours, you can expect to see rain showers moving their way into the forecast here. We're looking at 47 for the high. Temperatures mild throughout the evening and overnight hours. That rain arriving around dinner time.
Great. What do I do? So many good stories in here. You write, fearlessness is not the lack of fear, but rather the courage and strength to overcome it. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Nora. It's great to be with you guys this morning. So listen, I wrote the book because there are a series of myths out there about what it takes to achieve success or break through with something innovative. Everyone around the world, we found, has ideas about what they might do to change the world, but often they're stopped by the idea that maybe you need a special genius or wealth or certain connections or graduating from the right school. Our research really uncovered that actually none of that is the case. And what I do in the book is I take readers behind the scene of famous success stories and not so famous success stories to point out that there's failures and fears along the way.
Just reading the contents page is inspiring. I'm like, yes, this is good. The first principle we talk about is make a big bet. And
Right.
talk about Sarah Blakely, a Spanx.
And she wanted the slimming effect of pantyhose, which any woman can relate to, under her pants. But she realized she was wearing capri pants that didn't cover her ankle and sandals. So what was she going to do with her pantyhose? So she solved her own problem. She decided to cut the feet out of the pantyhose she was going to wear. And then she realized, wait, if that's a solution for me, it's a solution for other women as well. She had no background in fashion. She didn't have an MBA. She was selling fax machines at the time. But she put that idea forward sort of point by point. She went to Neiman Marcus and went in the dressing room and tried them on for someone, and they made a big order. And then Oprah chose her as one of her sort of favorite things.
Now Warren Buffett is, one of the biggest supporters.
One of the fears you talk about in this is the fear of taking a risk.
Yeah.
Which everybody has.
Everybody has,
and you in your own life, you were at GE, you had a very good job.
I did.
And then you were offered a job at a startup. And so how did you take that risk? Because I know your mother told you don't do it.
Yeah. Well, really, people thought I was crazy to leave what was really a good career trajectory at GE to take this big risk on a startup. But actually, I believed in my heart that I could achieve more of the goals I'd set out for myself and make a bigger difference in the world if I had done it.
Were you afraid at that point?
I was totally afraid to make the leap. And, you know, what we talk about in the book, or what I talk to readers about, is getting outside of your comfort zone. It's so easy to get locked in a place where you're comfortable and everything's okay, but it's things that are great come from the comfort zone. You have to get a little uncomfortable and push yourself.
How do you accomplish being fearless without being reckless at the same time?
Yeah, well, we talk about that. I mean, first of all, it's important to know your own sort of capacity for risk. Some people are more risk averse and some people are more risk tolerant. But there's actually a way you can measure if the risk you're going to take is one that is measured and not a risk. And I put some tips and techniques in the book to help people analyze that.
It's all about that special sauce you talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You read too about smart leaders peek around the corners. They see the future before it happens, or create the future before it happens.
They do. And, you know, one of my favorite chapters is Fail in the Footsteps of Giants.
Yeah.
Because too often we hear the success stories and we don't know what happened on the way to success. Yeah. Oprah, fired from television and told she wasn't right for TV. Michael Jordan, cut from his basketball team, went home and cried in the closet. Steve Jobs, fired from the very company he founded, Apple.
Abraham Lincoln losing his first two races for Congress.
I always tell my son, it's like, I don't care if you fail, it's what you do after you fail.
Absolutely. Look, learn from
it. Right, Gene, thank you so much. Be Fearless goes on sale Tuesday. You can hear more about CBS This Morning, including extended interviews and original content on our podcast. It's available on Apple's podcast app or wherever you like to download.
You're watching CBS This Morning.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Mom, we have a situation.
Life's bleachable moments need Clorox bleach.
At Discount Drug Mart, we work hard to keep our patients up to date with their immunizations, especially those at high risk.
We take into account our patients.
sunrise and now you're getting it so close. Now you're getting it so close. Almost love, almost love. Oh, cause I'm excited. No more taking it slow. No more taking it slow. It's almost love. Almost love, oh praise, almost love. Cause it's almost love, but it could be love. Almost love, and you know, almost love, but it could be love. Cause it's almost love, but it could be love, it could be love. Almost love, but it could be love. Cause it's almost love, but it could be love, it could be love. It's Monday the 18th again! I was stuck reliving the same day. I thought I ended the loop, but he's back. If I die again, I could stay dead. Who are you? I had a dream, we were sipping whiskey neat, highest floor of the Bowery, and I was high enough. Somewhere along the lines, we stopped seeing eye to eye. You were staying out all night, and I had enough. I don't wanna know where you've been or where you're going, but I know I won't be home, and you'll be on your own. Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning? Who's gonna rock you when the sun won't let you sleep? Who's waking up and struggling when you try to get up? Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning? I had a dream, we were back to 17, summer nights, liberties, never growing up. I'll take with me the Polaroids and the memories that you know I'm even more survive. Walk you through the dark side of the morning. Who's gonna rock you when the sun won't let you sleep? Who's waking up and struggling when you try to get up? Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning?
Winter weather. It can be done right and dangerous. That's why you need a reliable weather company. A team of winter weather experts.
We're tracking a major storm moving into the Miami Valley.
Working round the clock to keep.
Unsolved mysteries.
It's one of the deadest.
I can see you hurting. I've been through the same thing. Baby, don't you worry, I got you. I just wanna know you. Tell me all your secrets. Looking like you need it. 'Cause I got you. I got you. 'Cause I got you. I got you. We can get high, oh, nah, nah, nah. We can get low, oh, nah, nah, nah. Let me be a friend, baby, let me in. Tell you no lies, oh, nah, nah, nah. We can get lost, oh, nah, nah, nah. Take it all off, oh, nah, nah, nah. Let me be a friend, baby, let me in. Give it to me all, oh, nah, nah, nah. Tell me what you're thinking, always overthinking. I just wanna love you, I got you. Don't have to be so guarded, let's finish what we started. It's all I ever wanted. I got you. We can get high, oh, nah, nah, nah. We can get low, oh, nah, nah, nah. Let me be a friend, baby, let me in. Say no lies, oh, nah, nah, nah. We can get lost, oh, nah, nah, nah. Take it all off, oh, nah, nah, nah. Let me be a friend, baby, let me in. Give it to me all, oh, nah, nah, nah. I got you. Yeah, baby, that's what I do. I want the line for you, take a shot for you. Yeah, baby, that's what I do. It's all about you. It's all I do for you. I do for you. I got you. Yeah, oh, na, na, na. Yeah, oh, na, na, na. Let me be a friend. Baby, let me in. Take it all out, oh, na, na, na. Yeah, oh, na, na, na. Take it all off, oh, na, na, na. Let me be a friend. Baby, let me in. Give it to me all, oh, na, na, na. I got you.
Frankfurt told Mrs. K that he was a geologist and had recently retired from a government
Boy,
job.
did I have a good night's
He
sleep on my
also said
Nectar
he
mattress.
owned a house
Did you know
and
sleep is
several other
important,
rental
especially
properties
for
in
your
nearby
brain?
towns.
But when you sleep
And
on a
with that
crummy
income,
mattress, it's tired. And this little nugget takes over.
Instead of renting another place for himself, he thought it'd be better. It was great. I would come up from work, get my dinner ready. He would do the grocery shopping. He would make dinner. He would clean the house, vacuum the house. There was no reason to have anticipated what he did. I'm getting very excited about it.
Mrs. K in Frankfurt settled into a comfortable routine.
Oh, well, it certainly will. We started playing gin, and during the course of the gin game, he stopped what he was doing. You really love me. Yes, I do. Very much. Yes, that means I can get away with anything. At that time, I thought he meant the gin game because he would like to try to cheat. He had to win.
Mrs. K came home and found the bed she shared with Arthur unmade.
My bed's always made. Either Art made it or I made it, whoever was last up. Even then, it did not appear out of the ordinary. Until the time that I walked into my closet to change my clothes and discovered all the clothes from the closet missing. And I realized that he had left.
Mrs. K was heartbroken. On the hall table, she found a note. It said, sorry, things too possessive. F, which was their word for love. Then Mrs. K remembered giving him the combination to herself.
I didn't realize until the time that I read the note and went back and opened the safe. And then I discovered that I was wrong.
$4,500 worth of jewelry was gone. So were her late husband's wedding ring, handgun, work ID card, and driver's license renewed.
It took a lot of courage to call the police. I didn't want to say it out loud to myself that Art was who he was.
Update. Within minutes of our broadcast, 2 viewers called to report that they recognized Arthur Frankfurt. The individual said, I know where Arthur Frankfurt is. I'm his ex-brother-in-law. We received another call about 20 minutes later from a white female. It says, Arthur Frankfurt lives next door to me in Whitman, Kentucky. This is the confirmation call that I was looking for. At that time, I knew we had our name. 2 hours later, Frankfurt was arrested in his home in Kentucky. He was living under the assumed name James Ferguson with his new wife of 2 months. During a search of Frankfurt's house, police found several identical cards. Police learned that Florida prison and was released. He died 6 months later. Next, on Unsolved Mystery, a young woman for feet. But before long, she discovers he is dangerous and violent. After a wealthy businessman disappears, his wife sells all of his belongings at a garage sale. And then she takes control of his multi-million-dollar estate. A college student goes missing, then his burnt-out car turns up at a car wash. Was he murdered by a mysterious hitchhiker? Is it possible that this is an actual remnant of the legendary Holy Grail? If so, it may have amazing healing powers. These are stories you won't want to miss. I'm Dennis Ferran, and this is
You always pay your insurance on time. Have one free bumper.
Your nose is cold. Would you like an American doll? Would you like an American doll? Would you like an American doll?
It's just the best thing to take away the fear that when something is going to go wrong with your car, because it will, and CarShield is going to be there to back you up. My experience with CarShield is that they absolutely come through every time I need them.
If my car breaks down, I can count on CarShield to cover it for me. CarShield definitely has my back.
Now it's the time to make the smart choice and protect yourself from sky-high auto repair bills. Call now for a free and instant protection plan quote. It's only a matter of time until repairs are needed. And once your car breaks down, it's too late.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Amber and Brittany Albanese returned to their mother's home after a weekend with their divorced father. They're surprised to find that their mother, Joanne, is nowhere to be found.
Joanne was not there, which may not have been that uncommon. But when they went into her bedroom, they found her purse, and they found particular items of jewelry that Joanne only took off when she showered.
Their mother hasn't returned by the next day, so the girls report her missing. Las Vegas police detectives soon discovered that Joanne's boyfriend of 5 months, John Edwards, is also missing.
When Joanne and John failed to show up at work, contact her family, that's when we figured we'd better take a little closer look at it.
For over 10 years, Joanne had not been lucky with love. So she was thrilled when she met John Edwards. He was handsome, charismatic, and very attentive. But Joanne soon found out that John Edwards was not who he seemed to be.
Joanne, yes. Remember the guy I told you about? Very charming, no wife, no kids. Well, he's back there training somebody.
A friend introduced 39-year-old Joanne to John, a fitness trainer. Soon, they were dating. Nice to meet you, Joanne.
Joanne, like most women, thought him to be very dynamic and very interesting and attractive man.
For a while, the two seemed to be madly in love. But then something changed. Edwards paid for nothing and was living off Joanne's earnings.
This is strawberry.
It looks like it.
You brought the wrong drink.
We shut up. And his charming personality turned into one that was jealous, possessive, and violent.
Will you shut up?
He makes sure that he's pretty much the only person she's with. Obviously, she's with her children as well, but he takes up most of her time. He, from what we understand, even made sure that he was there when she would go to the bathroom.
On the day she disappeared, Joanne left work at 4:30 in the afternoon. She told family and friends that she planned to break up with John at dinner that night. Joanne was never heard from again. 4 days later, and 250 miles away, Joanne's car was found. It was parked in a remote desert area. There was no sign of Joanne or of John.
Finding the car abandoned where it was, it pretty well confirmed our fears that we had a foul play incident here.
Police discovered a truck parked outside Joanne's home that witnesses said belonged to John. But when police checked the truck's registration,
We ran that license plate and it came back as absolutely no record, which is rather unusual. Plate doesn't go to the vehicle or anyone in particular. So there's a problem there if somebody's trying to cover something. We started questioning whether or not John Edwards was who he claimed to be.
hoping to find some answers, police searched Edwards' house.
So we began looking through some of his belongings and we found a wallet that was duct taped closed. And when I opened that wallet, I found identification with the person we knew as John Edwards, but his name was John Addis. Alaska driver's license, a certification card from the state of Alaska saying he is certified in crime scene investigations.
Chicken out.
We realized at that point that the person we were told was John Edwards was in fact a John Addis.
But why did John Addis go to such lengths to conceal his identity? As detectives dug into his past, they found a trail of battered women that began in the Alaskan wilderness. Addis had once been an officer with the Alaska State Troopers. He had quickly risen through the ranks to become a scene investigator.
John was a very intelligent man. As an investigator, John really wasn't a people person as much as some others perhaps were. But if you wanted good crime scene, John Addis was the guy.
Addis and his wife Jody were active in the local law enforcement community.
Sandwich for John.
Only Jody knew the truth about John Addis.
He was very controlling. It started out by just pushes or shoving, and then it was grabbing my hair, pushing me up against the wall with his hand against my throat.
Stay away from those people. I told you not to talk to them.
After 11 years of marriage and 4 children, Jody finally had enough.
I decided I can't live like this anymore. So I had to make a decision. Decided I am not going to put up with this. And I jumped from the vehicle.
Addis reportedly chased her down and threw her back into the truck.
Get in my damn car!
Somehow, Jody escaped. A short time later, Jody divorced Addis. Over the next few years, Addis quit his job as a state trooper and married wives number 2 and number 3.
I started to trace back all of his prior relationships. What I saw was an escalation in violence. He was extremely violent with his 3rd wife, who, after just having a baby with her, he was choking her so badly that her feet were off the ground.
While Addis was married to his 3rd wife, he kidnapped the 4 children from his first. He was arrested and served a year in prison before being paroled. Then Addis violated his parole and disappeared. 5 years later, Addis showed up in Las Vegas. It was there that he met Joanne Albanese. By then, Addis was calling himself John Edwards. The former wife beater would soon become a killer. Joanne would be his first victim.
Our best guess was before they went to dinner, they got into a heated argument. And as a result of that argument, we firmly believe that John killed her. And once she was dead, John had packed her into her own car and ultimately disposed of the body and the car outside of Prescott, Arizona.
Three years passed. Then, only 1 mile from where her car had been abandoned, a hunter found Joanne's skeletal remains. An arrest warrant was issued for John Addis.
This is not a stupid individual. This is a homicide detective who taught crime scene investigation. He's as sharp as they come, and that's what makes him tougher to find.
John Addis won't be easy to catch, and it won't be easy to arrest. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he watches this segment and decides to do the honorable thing and dig himself out.
Update. John Addis did not give himself up. He managed to stay out of sight for 11 years until the FBI received the tip that he was in Mexico. Addis, a Mexican woman, and their 2 kids were living in Chiapas, Mexico. The police closed in, but by the time they got there, Addis was gone. The woman and 2 children he left behind were dead, victims of carbon monoxide poisoning. A few days later, the body of an American was found in a Guatemala hotel. Fingerprints identified him as John Addis. A local coroner ruled that he had died of a heart attack. Addis was 56. The case of Joanne Albanese was officially closed. However, a detective who has worked on the case for more than a decade doesn't rule out the possibility that John Addis somehow staged his own death and has eluded authorities once again. Next, a millionaire vanishes. Was he murdered?
This little girl gets snatched from a crowded playground and nobody sees it. You think a 3-year-old would scream, right? Well, she was said she knew.
Without a trace, tonight, 6-5 Central, on Escape.
At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A plan can cover your deductibles and co-insurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits. You get all this coverage for as low as a $0 monthly plan premium in most areas. Humana has a large network of doctors and hospitals, so call or go online today. Find out if your doctor is part of the Humana network and get your free decision guide. Discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free.
It's a new year. It's time for a new you. This year, get rid of hard-to-lose fat to reveal the slimmer, sexier, and more confident you with Sonobello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist.
I wish that I would have known about Sonobello years ago. I'm 42 and I'm just starting to live my life the way I want to.
Using advanced microlaser technology, Sonobello can give you the body you deserve in as little as 1 day with minimal downtime. Call 888-241-4483 or go to sonobello.com for our New Year, New You limited time offer. Find out how to get 1 area free. That's your stomach, inner thighs, even your arms, free. Get your new body now with one of our board-certified surgeons. It's our best offer of the year. Book now and get 1 area free. Payment plans available. Call 888-241-4483 or go to sonobello.com.
Fitness. The same machines, celebrity trainers, and pre-packaged workouts. How can something designed for everyone be the right fit for you? It can't. And that's why I'm here. I am Max, the artificial intelligence driving the new Bowflex Max trainer machine. I'm the coach that turns this low-impact, full-body, time-saving cardio machine into a truly personalized fitness experience. How personal? Well, let's start with your goals, and then I'll learn your capabilities. Can you give me one more? So I can adapt each day with personalized workouts unique to you and you and you. Some starting in only 4 minutes, all designed to help you become stronger, fitter, and healthier for the ones you love and the things you love to do. I am Max on the new Bowflex Max Trainer. Learn more at Bowflex.com, where the New Year sale is happening now.
Attention, if you have an IVC filter to prevent blood clots, even if you aren't injured, you may be entitled to compensation.
3.6 has just been awarded to a victim of IVC blood clot filter. If you have a blood clot filter, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
If you have a blood clot filter, call us right now.
Even if you aren't experiencing any symptoms, call 1-800-207-5300. That's 1-800-207-5300.
St. Croix, the U.S. Virgin Islands. A lush tropical getaway known as the American Paradise. Jim Rice is a successful contractor. He and his wife, Astarte, have moved here to build their dream house and have a good life. But 2 years later, their marriage is crumbling.
I don't think it's right for a man has to go to California, get an operation without his wife.
I've already told you I can't. I've already made plans.
Jim has to fly to San Francisco for shoulder surgery. But he's going alone because Astarte refuses to make the trip with him. The police now believe he never made that trip at all.
And he never showed up at my house. Never called from the airport, or we just never heard from him again.
When Jim first met Astarte, he was instantly captivated. But their life together was not easy. There were business failures, separations, reconciliations, and finally Astarte's imprisonment for fraud. Yet, despite it all, Jim remained loyal to his wife. When Astarte first met Jim, she had 3 grown children from a previous marriage. She was born Estabel White, but as an adult, she changed her name to Astarte after a primitive goddess of love.
She seemed to make my dad happy, and I figured he saw something in her that I didn't see. And as long as he was happy, then that was okay.
Jim and Astarte moved there. They started a charter fishing business. 2 years later, Astarte's son Noble was cleaning their boat when it exploded. Noble was seriously injured but recovered. Astarte just happened to be near the dock at the time. Authorities became suspicious.
Well, there was a large debt, and they carried insurance on the yacht. Noble indicated that he was just aboard cleaning the ship, which is kind of strange because it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Strange time to be cleaning a boat using gasoline, and the yacht caught on fire, and he said it was just purely an accident. But there was sufficient cause for the authorities back there in Hawaii to charge both Astarte and Noble with arson of the yacht.
Astarte and Noble were charged, but their trial date was postponed. A year later, Astarte was sent to prison on another fraud charge, moved to St. Croix and built a dream house on an isolated bluff overlooking the Caribbean. 3 years later, Jim called his daughter and told her that he was coming to California for shoulder surgery. He never arrived.
Kathy kept trying to reach him by telephone and was totally unsuccessful for about 2 weeks. When she finally was able to reach his home in St. Croix, she talked to Astarte. And Astarte had told her that Jim had run off with a woman from Australia.
We went off fishing on the Great Barrier Reef in Australia.
A few days later, when she talked to Astarte, the story was that Jim had flown from St. Croix to Miami. So we had 2 completely different stories. And later on, Astarte denied that either of these things had occurred. So we know that right from the beginning, she lied about what had happened to Jim and how he disappeared.
Kathy hired private investigator Dennis Sherrod to look into her father's disappearance. Dennis found a customs declaration form dated the day Jim was supposed to leave for California. On the form, Jim's signature appeared to have been forged.
He noted that Jim supposedly had flown on an airplane from St. Croix to Miami. And in fact, the people who actually flew on that flight were Stardy's son Noble and Noble's girlfriend.
Dennis also discovered that Astardi requested full control of Jim's financial estate worth $2 million. These documents were filed a week before he was scheduled to leave for California. But Astardi pretended that he had already left.
We're meeting him in Miami very shortly, and that's one of the reasons we're in kind of a rush.
Probably the key document was a power of attorney in Astardi's name. This original power of attorney was in the name of Jim's daughter, Kathy Clements. Astardi had done a cut and paste job on the document and inserted her name in its place.
Oh, I see you again.
Jim would have known that his assets were beginning to be changed or taken away from him. Jim's disappearance had to happen in that 12-hour period, from the time that he last spoke to Kathy to the following morning when the documents were presented to the notaries. Our investigation showed that just days after Jim's disappearance, all of his personal effects, his tools, his truck, were all sold in a garage sale that was conducted at the house and sold by Astardi and Noble Davis.
How you doing? Noble Davis. Where's your home?
A few months later, Kathy received a typewritten letter from Australia signed by Jim. His signature, again, appeared to have been forged. And there was something else.
The most important thing was the fact that the letter throughout contained the words "I am" put together. We know that from letters which we can attribute to Astardi that was a grammatical error that she frequently used.
Kathy Clements and Dennis Schirra are convinced that Jim Rice was murdered and that his body lies somewhere beneath the blue waters of the Caribbean. Although Astardi has never been charged, authorities still consider her a prime suspect. 5 years after Jim vanished, Astardi was arrested and convicted of fraud in connection with Jim's estate. She was serving time in a minimum security prison when she simply out and disappeared. Update. When this story aired, an Unsolved Mysteries viewer called police and said that Astardi was living in Spokane, Washington. Police arrested her as she left for work, and she was returned to prison to serve the remainder of her 15-year sentence. She has since been released. The disappearance of Jim Rice has never been explained. Next, a young man picks up a hitchhiker and is later found murdered.
Is that about the open house today?
Just gotta check my credit at Credit Karma first.
Alaska, America's last frontier. Highway 1 is its lifeline, a road that cuts through Canada's Yukon Territory that connects Alaska to the continental United States. This would be the final road taken for 25-year-old Philip Fraser. Philip was the son of two doctors. When he left his home in Anchorage, he was headed towards Evergreen College in Washington State to take pre-med classes. Philip packed up everything he owned for the trip, including 2 handguns. Three days after leaving home, Philip crossed the border into Canada.
Hi, where are you coming from? Alaska? Alaska. Where are you headed?
Philip did declare that he had 2 firearms of his own, and at that point, our Canada Customs people seized the firearms from him, as it is illegal for Americans to enter Canada with any kind of a firearm.
The next day, a hitchhiker was dropped off at a local cafe south of the border. Cafe owner Gay Frockledge and her daughter Tina were working.
The individual that dropped him off didn't come into the cafe, just dropped him off and left. There's something wrong with him, in appearance, wasn't comfortable.
I remember saying to Mom, maybe he escaped from a mental institution because he was so strange.
I think we got a problem here.
Yeah, you can stick around?
Yeah, I think I better best not leave you alone. I wouldn't leave her alone in the building with him, as there was nobody else there at the time. I said to Tina, well, you go ahead and take care of him and I'll just hang around. As I passed the side window, I seen a small black car pull up right to the side of the cafe. And the young man in the car proceeded to act like he was searching his car, like he had misplaced something that he needed. During this time, another vehicle pulled up to the service station.
Tina went to pump gas for another customer. She and Philip Fraser said hello.
Is that everything?
Yeah. When the hitchhiker finally finished eating, Gay and Tina noticed that he paid with Canadian money.
I watched the hitchhiker go out and approach Fraser.
How about a ride? I could go in here, yeah. Sure? Yeah.
The car sat for a few minutes and then he pulled ahead like he had second thoughts. The hitchhiker just ran beside him and pulled the door open, and the young man in the car proceeded to let him enter. The strange thing was that as they left the yard, Tina made some remark about he's going to live to regret this day he picked this man up. It was like a sixth sense that this man was capable of anything.
Eight hours later, 200 miles south of the cafe, Eddie and Pauline Olson pulled over to help a stranded motorist.
Oh, wow, I'm glad to see you guys. Hey, I think my car ran out of gas. I don't know what happened.
You could tell he was nervous, but I thought that he was just scared of being out here this late at night. At that point, I just said, well, I'll tow you home and we'll figure it out in the morning.
The Olsons offered to let the hitchhikers sleep in their basement for the night.
There's some blankets right there. Okay. Have a good sleep and we'll see you in the morning.
All right, thanks. Sleep good.
He slept downstairs in our basement, and I have about 12 or 15 guns in a gun case down there. And he slept. The guns were just right beside him there.
How'd you sleep?
The next morning, the young man told the Olsons that both his parents were doctors in Anchorage. He said that he was on his way to college to study medicine.
And I really wanted to thank you guys.
Well, I got talking to him about his car, and he told me that if I was interested, he would sell it to me. But I said, the only way I would buy it is if you waited till Monday and we went through customs. And he said that would be too late for him.
I really can't wait. I really need to get going. Is there something I can do for your hospitality?
It's okay.
The Olsons thought it odd when the hitchhiker pulled out 2 wallets and began to behave secretively. He gave the Olsons $20 US. Within an hour, the young man had fixed his broken fan belt and was on the road again. "12 hours later, Philip's car was found at a car wash in Prince George, British Columbia.
The car was burned, almost totally gutted out due to the fire. Nothing was found in the car of any significance. In fact, none of Philip Fraser's belongings have ever been found. The parents were contacted, and there was a great deal of investigation done at that point, as Philip was considered a missing person and potentially a homicide victim.
6 weeks later, Philip's body was found 70 miles from the Olsons' home.
I felt angry, bitter. I wondered what kind of a person would destroy someone who was so idealistic and so full of life.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police believed that the mysterious hitchhiker learned everything he could about Philip so that he could assume his identity and then kill him.
In my mind, he most definitely is a dangerous person. He's taken one life. He has the capability of taking more. And I would consider him very dangerous.
These are composite drawings of the hitchhiker based on eyewitness descriptions. He is Caucasian, about 5 feet 9 inches tall, and weighs approximately 225 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. The authorities believe that the hitchhiker is familiar with Toronto and Seattle. He may be using the name Philip Innes Fraser. Among the items never recovered were Philip's birth certificate, visa, passport, and checkbook. If you have any information about Philip, please log on to our website at unsolved.com. Coming up, they call him the Heart Attacker. So far, he's stolen over $1 million from his many, many wives.
If you have an IBC filter to prevent blood clots, even if you aren't injured, you may be entitled to compensation.
$3.6 million has just been awarded to a victim of IVC blood clot filter. If you have a blood clot filter, call the Goldwater Law Firm.
If you have a blood clot filter, call us right now.
Even if you aren't experiencing any symptoms, call 1-800-207-5300. That's 1-800.
more than $1 million. He also fathered over 30 children.
The problem in this kind of a case is that victims are embarrassed. Nobody likes to admit they were taken for money. They're more reluctant to admit they were taken for love.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
But finally, one victim did come forward. The woman we'll call Barbara met Carlucci in New York, and they were married soon after. But only 6 months later, he disappeared, leaving her penniless. She decided to press charges.
When Barbara first came to us and gave us information about Carlucci, we started our investigation and began to talking to quite a few people. To speak to these women was an eye-opener for me. Carlucci doesn't just leave physical and financial wreckage behind. It's kind of a psychological scarring that you see.
I would like to see this man get caught. He doesn't belong out in society.
Shortly after this story aired, several viewers in Tennessee identified Carlucci as a local restaurant manager they knew as Louis Serra. Police arrest home, where he was living with his pregnant. Carlucci was extradited to New York, where Barbara and several other victims brought charges against him. Carlucci pleaded not guilty and was released on a $1,000 bail. When he disappeared again, police issued a new warrant. Update. Several months after jumping bail, Carlucci was captured. Police found him living with one of his former girlfriends in Los Angeles. Carlucci was sent back to New York, where authorities charged him with grand larceny, fraud, and bigamy. He was convicted on all counts and served 4 years in prison. Our research team recently heard from a woman named LaDonna Alfano. She was just a child when her mother died in a horrific accident. LaDonna told us that she had no memories of her mother and didn't know much about her family. She was hoping that we could help her find them. Dallas, Texas. Early one December afternoon, a train left the city heading west towards Abilene.
You three ready? What day is it, honey?
At around the same time, two Army wives, Alfano and Pinky Johnson, rounded up their kids for a trip into town.
Where'd you go? Might be brides also. They're having a sale on pot roast. Okay.
At around 2 p.m., Pinky's...
What's wrong? Pinky, there's a train. What's wrong? What do you mean you can't get in this part? You want to split it? There's
The car was literally torn to shreds. Its roof was sliced completely off. 2 of the children died immediately. A third died in the hospital. So did Darlene Alfano. Her husband, Fred, was by her side.
I was sitting with her, talking to her, and I was holding her hand. She took a very deep breath, held it for a few seconds, and very slowly let it out, and I knew she had expired.
Fred found himself almost completely alone. He had lost his wife and 2 of his children. His other child, LaDonna, survived, but she was barely hanging on.
They were all almost universally sure that LaDonna would not survive because of facial damage extended all the way down to the base of her brain.
LaDonna had suffered severe injuries to her face and her head, but amazingly,
Mom is an angel.
When my father told me that my mother and my sisters had died, I thought, oh, the angels had come down and gotten them. I was happy that they were angels. Well, I used to think, why did I live? Why was I the one that survived? I believe that when I was a child, that I lived for my father, that my father survived it.
Her strength gave me strength. And my only direction in life then was to take care of LaDonna, make sure she survived and had a normal.
LaDonna had many reconstructive surgeries on her face, but there was one thing the operations couldn't correct: the loss of her mother.
I have no memories of my mother at all. I look at pictures of her and I try to remember something. It's like looking at a magazine article of a woman. I have recollections of my twin and my father and my little sister. My father has told me stories about us as children with my mom, and it doesn't bring back any memories whatsoever.
LaDonna wanted to change all of that, but the only clue she had was a letter from her mother's father that she'd received when she was just 13 years old. It contained a photograph of her mother's sister, Patricia Ann Hintz.
I think finding my Aunt Pat will definitely fill my emptiness. Just being able to touch her and knowing that she was a part of my mother is the only thing that I have of my mother. And it would just knowing her and meeting her and hugging her would be really even enough for me right now.
Update. On the night we profiled this story, LaDonna finally found her aunt and her mother's parents as well. A few weeks later, LaDonna was driving up to her Aunt Pat's house.
Oh, you're just quaking. Don't cry. Thank you. So do you.
It's totally changed my life. It's just finding them, and they're great people, and they're beautiful. I just feel totally that empty hole is totally filled.
She lost her mother. I lost my sister. And it's just like she found another mother, and I found a new sister. I just feel like we're just connected. I really do.
LaDonna's first visit with her grandparents made the reunion complete.
I can't even express it. I just really cannot express how I feel. There's just too many emotions going on here, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. It's great. I just feel really like I'm at home.
Next, some say that water from a chalice called the Nantius cup has the miraculous power to heal. Could it be the Holy Grail, the legendary chalice that Jesus is said to have used at the Last Supper?
They don't always play by the rules. There's a stunt entry point and sometimes blur the lines between right and wrong. Did it burn any documents? For sure we do. Shatner, Boston Legal, tonight, 8/7 Central, on the new Escape.
You heard that right, boss. We sling.
Hey, kids. Want to sling with us?
The freedom is exhilarating.
Nick, hey, we talked about this, right?
I remember. Okay, thank you. Folks, we've got a big couch that will fit all four of us.
You could beanbag it if that's more your jazz.
Sling TV is the live TV you love with over 80,000 on-demand shows, movies, and more. Get a free Roku Express. Go to slingtv.com.
Hey, I'm Alec.
My name's Q.
Is everything okay?
I don't like hospitals.
This isn't just a hospital. This is a special place. Come with me. This is a place
Where I can play games with my grandparents. This is the place where I make the shot.
This is the place where kids
Learn how to walk downstairs. I'm kidding. This is where kids get to be kids.
Yes, this is Shriners Hospitals for Children.
And this special place is only possible because of the monthly support of people just like you.
When you give at loveshriners.org, you'll be joining thousands of other caring people who give just $19 a month to change these kids' lives.
Because of Shriners Hospitals for Children, I can live out what's possible, like riding my bike. Cookies! Cracking board.
When you give 63 cents a day, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospital for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me. Thank you.
Gracias.
Merci. Thank you very much.
Please call or go online now. If operators are busy, call again or go to loveshriners.org to give.
Millions of moms trust the Gerber Life. Protect your child with $25,000 of whole life insurance.
Just a couple pennies out of every paycheck and you're all set.
During age 18, your child's coverage automatically doubles at no extra cost. Call now or visit us online for a free quote. Nearly 9 out of 10 people get approved.
I just checked 4 boxes, signed the bottom, put a stamp on it, and hey, I got life insurance.
Your child also has the option to buy additional protection later on, up to 10 times the original amount.
I've given her the head start. Now all she has to do is take off with it.
Plus, the Gerber Life Grow Up Plan builds cash value over time.
She's going to be so thankful. She's going to think that I rock.
Call or visit growup.com to apply.
Call 1-800-375-5240. That's 1-800-375-5240. Call today.
It's called the Holy Grail, the cup which many believe Jesus Christ drank from at the Last Supper.
The cup is a unique symbol which brings God and man together. Many people regard the Holy Grail and Jesus Christ as one and the same.
It is considered the most sacred object of the Middle Ages. Some say it is a beautiful golden chalice. Others believe that this small, broken piece of olive wood is all that's left of the Holy Grail. Hundreds claim that the fragment of a cup called the Mantis cup has healing powers. They say the water from the cup has cured them of arthritis, heart disease, blindness, leprosy, and even cancer. Does the Mantis cup truly have the power to heal? For more than 2,000 years, every object associated with the Last Supper and the crucifixion has taken on a mystical significance. None more so than the Holy Grail.
For the historians, the Grail isn't simple, but legend is an amazing thing. It can enable people to do heroic things under the worst of circumstances. And that's why the Grail story is one of the greatest stories in the entire history of the world, and always will be.
The legend says that Joseph of Arimathea caught a few drops of Christ's blood in the Grail as Christ was being prepared for burial. Joseph was then sent to prison for allegedly stealing the body of Christ. Joseph wasn't given any food or water, but an angel kept him alive by placing a wafer in the Grail every day. Finally, Joseph escaped from prison, taking the Grail with him. He traveled to Glastonbury in the British Isles and founded the Church of the Holy Grail, where the cup remained hidden for the next 1,000 years. Over the centuries, the Grail was taken from one hiding place to another as wars broke out and churches were destroyed. Finally, in the 18th century, it ended up at the Nantes house, a mansion that was owned by an aristocratic family named the Powells. For 400 years, the Powells guarded the Grail, handing it down from one generation to the next. It became known as the Nantes Cup.
What began to transpire was that the chalice had healing properties. How they discovered this is not known, but at some point in time, the healing properties became more apparent.
For many years, there was known about the 19th Cup. That all changed one night in 1988.
This particular day, I was travelling to North Wales early in the morning. So I'd set a time of rising at 6 a.m. But at 4 a.m., I was awakened by a voice. The first time it didn't register, and I heard a second time the voice say, "You will find the holy chalice."
Before dawn, a friend called. He suggested that the Reverend include the 19th Cup in a coming exhibition of Christian. He told Griffiths he might learn more about the cup at the ruined abbey of Strata, Florida.
When I gave him the details, I was amazed to find that he was convinced of my experience, and he was more than willing to help. But he made it to understand that he was breaking a rule because he promised the family that he would never redirect anyone to their present location.
The current owner of the cup is a member of the Powell family. She lives in seclusion, and she protects her privacy as strongly as she protects the 19th Cup.
As the guardian of the Holy Grail, my duty is to safeguard the cup at all times, to allow people to drink from it, to have water from it, and to send water to people if they're ill.
When I first set eyes on the chalice, I was a little disappointed because it was rudimentary. Perhaps there's only a third of the original vessel left. But when I handled it, I can't describe in human language the effect it had upon me, as if I was already in paradise.
It's precisely that feeling of holiness that has led many to believe the cup has healing powers. The cup's guardian gives Reverend Griffiths water that has been poured over the cup. He pats the holy water, experiments, and then sends them to people who are sick and crippled. The Reverend says that in some cases the results are miraculous.
I have a regular meal with a young man who was once totally blind, and today he has perfect sight. I cite one case of a young man who had a leprous condition for 11 years. The following day, his skin was perfectly clean from every trace of leprosy.
When Marlene Chetley found a lump in her left breast, her doctors believed it was cancer. She wore one of the prayer cloths beneath her clothes.
And then by the time I went for mammogram, everything was clear. The lump was still there, but there was nothing cancerous. The doctors did say that the lump would still stay there, but after a week or two, the lump went, and I've had no further problems since with that.
The results and the testimonies were so amazing that I had no doubts whatsoever about the authenticity of the chalice being the Holy Grail that Jesus used at the Last Supper.
Could the 19th Cup be the Holy Grail? Oh, God. The cup has not been carbon dated or scientifically tested in any way. Its guardian fears that any testing might damage it. But to those who claim they have been touched by its power, the simple wooden cup is indeed holy.
A millionaire and his family were executed in their own home. And for 3 years, the murders went unsolved until a 30-year-old box of bullets and some iridescent fibers revealed the ultimate betrayal. The beach house at Pajaro Dunes in Northern California. On weekends and holidays, it was the perfect getaway for the Yule family. The family patriarch Dale was an extremely wealthy man who made his fortune selling airplanes.
He was quite successful because he's very outgoing, very personable, And he'd go out on these ranches and sell farmers these airplanes. He'd sell them planes and then teach them how to fly.
Dale and his wife, Lee, had been happily married for 31 years. Their 24-year-old daughter, Tiffany, was a graduate student in accounting.
Tiffany, a very sweet girl.
Son, Dana, was a business major at Santa Clara University.
Dana was a very precocious child, very smart, almost too intelligent. I heard that once upon a time his IQ was 165, which is extremely high.
In 1992, after spending the Easter holiday at Pajaro Dunes, Dale, Lee, and their daughter Tiffany returned home to Fresno. 2 days later, the Yule's housekeeper tried to enter the home and sensed trouble. The security alarms turned off, yet the doors were locked. Inside, she found Dale, Lee, and Tiffany dead from gunshot wounds.
The thing that I recall most about the Yule home from the murders is the photograph of Clea Yule laying on her back in the den. She had a look of fright on her face, even in death. I've never seen a house that severely ran out. And I worked burglary before I worked homicide.
Jewelry was missing from the home, and Dale Yule's wallet was empty, but there were no signs of forced entry.
How did somebody get in here, turn off the alarm, his arm cut into the police department?
All three were shot with a 9mm weapon while bringing their
Things you might say 1 second, and a little second later you're gone.
Dana Yule was fortunate. He avoided the ambush since he was having dinner with his girlfriend and her family that night, 160 miles away.
He began dating Monica Zett, an FBI agent's daughter. At the time of the murders, Dana Yule was with the family, and his outfit was John Zett.
Investigators found an open box of 9mm ammunition in the master bedroom, and they also found very unusual fibers on the victims.
I had some fluorescent fibers that glowed under the ultraviolet light in the dark, and some rubbery stuff that I didn't have a clue as to what it was, except appeared to be rubber.
In their search for suspects, investigators thought that a business associate or rival may have wanted Dale Yule dead. Before Dale acquired his business, the company was allegedly involved in some criminal activity.
He took over the former owner, who we got into a little bit of legal difficulty with marijuana smuggling.
Or Lee Yule might have been the target.
Clea Yule had worked for the CIA at one time. The CIA doesn't tell you a whole lot, but they did acknowledge the fact she did work for him.
With talk of marijuana smuggling and CIA, investigators knew these murders would be difficult to solve.
At this point in my life, I know what I like and what I don't. I like my coffee strong, my eggs scrambled.
Joe several times. That he was just saying that as a derogatory thing.
Yeah,
He was just mocking her.
Yeah, he called her Pocahontas. I thought that was interesting.
You say that you understand the language, the Powhatan language. Did you study that?
That's when I really got into it, yeah. And I didn't even know that it was a different name. I thought it was just a Powhatan language. It's actually Eastern Algonquian, or Algonquin. It has two different pronunciations.
Okay, and how has this interfered with your life? You say you say you can't get a job, you can't keep a job, you can't keep a place to live, you can't. It's just interfered with your whole life.
Yeah, it's like some kind of divine intervention that's just like pushing me to. I feel like that's how I got here. Like I came all the way over here because my spirit told me to.
I don't understand how this interferes with you having a job or a place to live. I mean, why do you not just go to?
I believe as well.
I'm sorry?
I believe it's a curse following me or a demon or something from like a past life, because it doesn't make any sense. I want to live a normal life. I want to work. I want to open my own clothing store. I want to have my own career. I want to have good housing. I want to be stable.
But when you go to work, do you tell everybody that you're a reincarnated?
No, not really.
So what is it that gets you fired?
Not entirely sure. I couldn't tell you. Not entirely sure. I guess it's just not meant for me to be in that specific place because I'm a good worker. I'm hardworking. I'm dedicated. I'm reliable. I couldn't tell you.
Well, okay. Diana insists that she's not mentally ill and claims her parents want to squash her free spirit by medicating her, turning her into a zombie, and just really killing her. Well, we're going to meet her parents after the break.
Right now is very violent. I haven't had any temper tantrum. Do something against the wall and put that hole in.
Whatever's going on, it's getting worse. She thinks that she has been cursed by a demon. What do you say to that?
And later.
Oh, now it's a different story. What do you mean it's not a different story? Please help my daughter. You think I'm crazy? Are you sure that you guys aren't just delusional?
She thought she summoned aliens. You say you saw a half cat creature and a 6-foot tall creature with black eyes.
Yeah, now she believes she is being electronically targeted.
You say they can project the hologram in your
They do like a light behind you, and it goes through your head and through the optic nerve. It'll make you see anything that they want you to see.
Tell me who they are.
That's Monday. Then on Tuesday,
I started being abused sexually between the ages 4 and 5.
FLDS survivors.
Do you think that this abuse is still happening?
Yes, I do.
That's Tuesday. 6 cameras give you a 360-degree view. Sophisticated technology provides location-specific data, tracking storms from anywhere. Introducing Storm Tracker 7, the mobile weather center that allows our team of expert meteorologists to be anywhere in the community, keeping ahead of the storm and using the power of Live Doppler 7 to make sure you know everything you need to stay safe. Storm Center 7 is weather coverage you can count on.
No matter what resolutions you make this year, they all start with a great night's sleep on a great mattress from Sleep Outfitters, where our sleep experts will help you find the perfect mattress for a restful night and productive day. Your resolution starts here, only at Sleep Outfitters.
Hi. Oh, welcome back. Do you have any more? Oh, I have the perfect thing. I just want more big tickets. Oh, okay, yeah, I gotcha. Here you go. Thank you.
Wait, $100 million tax extravaganza. It has a top price of $5 million and is total 5%.
Oh. Air freshener?
Oats seem pretty simple, right? They're actually kind of extraordinary. See, oats contain a soluble fiber called beta-glucan. Beta what? Stay with me here. This is where it gets interesting. This fiber really isn't like cholesterol, so it traps in the bad cholesterol and shows it a thing or two. Any quick
way throughout, a delicious part of a heart-healthy diet. High five, fiber.
If you've been injured at work, this is a very important message. Employers are sending injured workers to doctors and clinics hired by their company. Do you want a doctor who answers to your company or one who works for you? You as an injured worker have an absolute right under Ohio law to pick your own doctor. Hire a doctor who cares about you and your health. Let us protect your right to choose your own doctor and get you the treatment and compensation you deserve. Call the Tiger at 1-800-INJURED and let our nationally recognized award-winning team fight for you.
Your New Year's resolutions all start with a great night's sleep. Find your perfect night's sleep at Sleep Outfitters,
where you can save up to 50% on name brand floor samples and closeout models.
Your resolution starts here, only at Sleep Outfitters.
My family has a generational curse on the family name. My family, my mom, my dad, and my grandmother all played with Ouija boards, but at different times. I feel like the Ouija boards have definitely cursed me in some kind of way. My mom and my grandma played with Ouija boards together before I was born, and they stopped when they felt like we should stop right now, something's not right. But I feel like by that time, a demon could have came through by then, or who knows what could have came through. My dad said he played with it long before he met my mom, and my family decided to tell me at the Christmas dinner table, and I snapped.
Well, Robert and Robin say their daughter, Diana, is mentally ill, violent, and out of control. Now, Robert says his daughter's behavior getting worse, and Robin says her daughter is psychotic and needs to be medicated immediately before she winds up dead. They were.
My daughter's mentally ill. She needs help. She does need medication. She believes medication is poison, and that her dad and I are trying to kill her.
I have no idea why Diana thinks I want her dead. Diana had a temper tantrum and threw something against the wall and put that hole there. Diana right now is very hostile toward me. She's very violent. Somehow I say something to her that flips a switch or a trick.
Since she was 18, it seems to have accelerated. Whatever's going on, it's getting worse. I'd say in the past 3 years, she's becoming, I think, a little delusional. We had tornadoes in the area. She sent me a text saying that she went outside and she saw a funnel cloud and did some sort of dance, and she was scared because it was dangerous, but she had people to protect. I just responded, please stay inside when it's dangerous outside. It really terrified me.
I believe she's imagining a number of things. She has changed from a sweet young lady to a complete opposite person.
She thinks that because I used a Ouija board 40 years ago, she thinks that she has been cursed by a demon. What do you say to that? Something terrible is going to happen to her because Diana is impulsive. And I think she's going to wind up not just homeless, but dead.
Well, Anna's mother, Robin, is here. Her father, Robert, is joining us via Polycom. Your concern is that your daughter is mentally ill.
And her safety, yeah.
And because of that, she's in harm's way, that she's either going to get in conflict with someone or engage someone in a way that they're going to react violently and she's going to get hurt or killed. Robert, what's your position on this?
Well, I feel the same way. Diana has become very violent. She has fits of rages, madness, and she's just not stable.
Are you having fits of rage?
No, I'm pretty chill right now.
Well, right now, but are there times when you're getting very animated and angry and violent with anyone, with your parents or anyone else?
I've gotten violent with my dad before, yes.
Uh-huh.
But he's been violent with me before, so of course anybody will be on guard.
Did you punch this hole in the wall that
No.
we're looking at here?
No, that's why I think it's hilarious. He told me my sister did that.
He picked up an object and out of a fit of rage, she threw it against the wall, and I heard that. You were the only person in the room.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to deny you on that one.
That's fine. You can deny all you want.
Well, according to your parents, your really irrational and that they give you advice that you twist it, that you explode at the mention of getting any kind of help because you don't think you need any kind of help.
I don't mind
that
counseling.
You hit yourself when you're angry and frustrated.
No.
That's not true?
No.
And
I don't know if it's a habit, but I have seen it.
And you believe that they're trying to poison you with meds and that you violently attacked Robert and that they think that you may be possessed by demons because they've seen you speaking in tongues.
Eastern, I didn't see me speaking in tongues. Eastern Algonquin, that's the, okay. When I was, probably what I was saying was Kokoibriapok, which means calm the devil.
Yeah.
What?
And that last year you punched Robert in the head while he was driving.
I punched him in the, what?
Was taking you to work. Just picked you up at the bus stop.
Where was I working?
Burger King.
I was working at Burger King in 2014. No, sir. Oh.
Yeah. You were talking about something, sounded funny, and I laughed, and then you decided to hit me with your fist. Reach across and hit me in the side of, like so.
That doesn't even make any sense. You're going to kill us both, so I'm going to shut that down.
Yes, that's what I told you.
That doesn't even make any rational sense, though.
I know. That's why you're here. Just because things don't make rational sense.
According to your parents, in August of this year, you threw knives and punched him in the head.
Why would I throw a knife? I don't have aim.
Diana mentioned earlier in the show that there's something her parents don't know. They need to find out when we come back from the break.
I found this picture of Pocahontas on the internet, and I really wanted physical proof that I could be her. We have the same neck bone, we have the same nose shape. It's very intense pressure, knowing that you're reincarnated. People look at me like, what is she looking at? And I'm looking at them like, do you know who I am?
This is my first podcast ever.
It's great podcasting. It's Dr. Phil McGraw, like you've never heard him before. Why are you not tired?
I'll ask questions around you.
In-depth conversations.
I'm going to get really into here. I'd say I have what could maybe be called a sex addiction.
With the world's most fascinating people.
I actually worked for the NFL as a sidelines concussion doctor.
Fill in the blank.
We're just sitting here talking. Let's make something magic.
The podcast. I've loved every minute of it. Starting January 8th. Subscribe now at applepodcast.com/Dr. Phil.
We know what comfort means to you. That's why we offer name brand mattresses like Serta and Beauty Rest. Because a great day begins with a great night's sleep. Only at Value City Furniture.
There's nothing more convenient than having a gym in your own home. With your own fitness equipment from Tiger Joe's, you'll be able to work out whenever and however you want. Tiger Joe's Fitness Equipment. Everything you need for a great workout.
Over 62,000 complaints of nursing home neglect were received by the Department of Health.
Negligence by unqualified and overworked staff causes bed sores, falls, bruises, abuse, and even death.
Your loved ones deserve better. Call 1-800-HELP-OHIO.
The Centerville, Washington Township community is just a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. My wife and I have been in the community a long time, over 40 years. Our boys grew up in this community, and both boys made the decision to start their college educational career at Sinclair. We want to create lifelong learners that are successful in all of their endeavors. What a gem we have right here in the Miami Valley area at Sinclair Community College. Our family's been touched by that, and many other families in the Centerville community have as well.
My YMCA. It's my fitness place. My happy place. Be myself place. My community place. My healthy place. My family place. Find your why today and find your place. Now celebrating the grand opening of our new Xenia Y. Skate Branch by January 31st and save.
Dad, you're here. Yes, we did not invite you.
told me he was dead.
Oh my God, he's alive!
Take a picture of me and my girl. Sure thing. You know, I called you the other day about lunch. Did you get my message? Yep. Now take the picture, Annie Leibovitz.
This is exactly why I stopped talking to you.
I never wanted this.
Me neither.
I mean, I never wanted kids.
Shop Value City Furniture during the year-end mattress sale and save $200 on Beauty Rest Platinum mattresses like this plush queen mattress, now just $10.69. Or you can enjoy 36 months special financing only at Value City Furniture.
I wake up for the spiritual boost, for the culture, and sometimes just to be at peace because it looks good. I definitely go to the store now. I'll definitely do it for just like casual walks or something, just to bring awareness, like, hey, this actually is a thing. People give me the best stories. They'll ask me, are you Catwoman? They'll ask, who are you today? Halloween came already, but Native American will never ever come out of their mouth. It makes me feel like humanity has turned into uncultured zone.
Okay, Robert and Robert both say their daughter Ayanna has a fascination with Pocahontas. What they don't know is just how far that fascination goes. So I want both of you to listen very carefully to what she has to say here.
I am the reincarnation of Pocahontas. Pocahontas is my 13th great grandmother. My dad is related to her by blood, and my mother and grandmother on my mom's side are related to her through John Law, her husband. I found this picture of Pocahontas on the internet, and I was already convinced spiritually that Pocahontas was there. I really wanted physical proof that I could be her. It just jumped out at me on Google. We had the same neck bone. We had the same nose shape, same cheekbones, the same ears. I was like, oh, well, this is real. If I go to the canal walk in my city and they're doing tours on the boats, I'll have flashbacks of men on the boat in red kind of shirts, sailor shirts, white pants, and black ship hats. And I'm looking at normal people, and then just flash back and forth between reality and back then. It's so weird. People look at me like, what is she looking at? And I'm looking at them like, do you know who I am? Because I see who you are. I've lost a couple friends because of it. I went to work one day with my makeup on. They had a huge problem with it. They made a scene saying I was going to cause controversy. It's very intense pressure. Knowing that you're reincarnated and being that person of who you are and reincarnated. Because then there's that story of everybody saying it's Pocahontas' fault why the colonists came and they stayed because she was so friendly. My purpose is to bring healing between the colonists and the natives. I want to be the portal for that. I also want to bring Pocahontas' reincarnation to the fullest and live her best life while I still have it. Please help my daughter. You think I'm crazy? Now you think I'm a...
What do you think was said? I asked
It's
her.
not wrong that she is 13th generation direct descendant of Pocahontas.
And that's on John Rolfe's side.
Pocahontas and John Rolfe had children.
Right.
One of them is our ancestor.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now it's a different story.
It's not different.
What do you mean it's not a different story?
And this happens all the time, that she misremembers something and then thinks that we're lying because it's changed in her mind.
Are you sure that you guys aren't just delusional? Because I'm going off what you're telling me.
Let's just assume, for argument's sake, just purely hypothetically, that reincarnation is a thing, and that she is, or Pocahontas reincarnated. Why would that interfere with you having a job and being a contributing member of society? And how would that explain you being combative with people? And it just doesn't add up. It sounds like a very convenient excuse for not pulling your own weight.
I don't think so. I have to disagree with that.
Well, you can disagree with it, but the facts suggest that you use it as an explanation for why you're not accepted by society, and you paint your face up and go to work, and they don't.
I only did that one time.
Well, I would think it would only take once. This is how you should. This is how you showed up to work.
I was very upset about it. Yeah, that is how I showed up for work. I was very upset about it, and instead of just me not saying anything and letting it distract me from my job, I just I didn't see anything different. I just went ahead and did my job like I was supposed to. I just had on face paint. I didn't see any difference in it.
Yeah, well, how'd that work out for you?
I left.
Ayanna says that her parents should be giving her money and helping her find a place to live. Her parents insist they've offered to allow Ayanna to live with them, but she refuses. So what does need to happen in this situation? We'll be right back.
My parents should be giving me some money to at least help me survive.
I do feel whatever it is, it's part of the mental illness because she does think everyone else is the problem.
She feels that she's entitled to have everything. Everything is owed to her.
Closed captioning provided by...
I can't believe it could take weeks to get our tax refund.
At H&R Block, you could get an advance on your refund up to $3,000 the day you file.
You could get a pool table.
Or we could get the carpets. Up to $3,000 the day you file at H&R Block. Block has your back.
Turn up your swagger game with one-a-day gummies. One serving, once a day. With nutrients that support 6 vital functions and 1 healthy you. That's the power of one-a-day.
Over the holidays, if you get a new phone or tablet, make sure you download the WHIO News and Weather apps. They'll give you quick access to Storm Center 7 forecasts and live Doppler 7 radar. Go to the App Store and add WHIO News and WHIO Weather to your new toys today.
I've been watching Audience Dancing for 16 seasons now, and all I can say is, damn.
Ellen, today is Channel 7.
0 calories, make a nature sweetener even sweeter. Pick nature's calorie-free sweetness. Pick Trivia.
For me, donating wasn't simply about sending a check. It was about the positive feeling of giving back. Checking with my Better Business Bureau made me feel even better about my decision. Give back. Give smart. Check out Charities First at bbb.org.
What's the matter? Old football injury? No, it's my mattress. It's killing me. I have just the thing for you. Lie down. The bed match system. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you a great night's sleep. I've got a match. Anthony? Only at Furniture Fair.
Isn't it worth knowing what's really going on with your tax dollars, on your roads, in your schools, inside your local government, and in your community? Now more than ever, the source matters. Real journalism, real local impact. From the Dayton Daily News, it's worth knowing what's really going on, and it's worth your support.
On the next wheel.
My dream is to be here.
Yes, Pat, all my life I've been watching Wheel of Fortune. It's always been my dream. Here I am, I'm living my dream.
There you go.
Tonight at 7 on Channel 7.
I feel like my parents should be doing more for me. I appreciate everything that they have done for me. I appreciate the fact that they just gave me life because I could have not been here at all. They should be giving me some money to at least help me survive.
If she has a sense of entitlement, it's mostly with her father. I do feel whatever it is, it's part of the mental illness. I think everyone else is the problem.
She feels that everything. Everything's owed to her. I pay for a phone, I pay for food, clothing, shelter. I'm giving her everything that she ever asked for.
He'll definitely hold it over my head. He'll say, well, I'm the one who pays the phone bill. He'll threaten me when I don't listen to him or if what I say doesn't go with exactly what he wants. He'll threaten to cut my phone off. I definitely do feel like my dad was controlling me when he was paying my rent. He has this whole huge ego with respect. If something doesn't fit his ways, like a tyrant, he's just going to shut everything down like a toddler. He'll throw a tantrum.
But she has no real concept of money. Her concept of money is, oh, you just swipe a card. I've called her a spoiled brat. She's 24 years old. You can't always have what you want when you want it.
Have you been honest with me about everything? Your parents gave us a list of behaviors that they said problematic for them. They said, for example, that you violently have attacked And when you responded to that, you didn't say you didn't do it. You said, why would I do it? When we said you punched him in the head driving, you said, well, when was that? Why would I do that? That would kill us both. I wouldn't do that. You didn't say you didn't do it. And you had the same response down here. And, you know, I'm specifically trained in deception detection. And I don't believe you told the truth when you responded to that, because there are very specific lie behaviors that people use when they're trying to deflect accountability on the truth. And you were displaying them like a Navy flag man on the end of a boat.
Oh, that's funny. I appreciate your honesty on that.
Those things actually are true, if we're going to be honest with each other. Isn't that true?
Let me tell you about this one. When I violently attack him, why? I mean, I don't go out just attacking him for no reason. He pushes me to a point to defend myself.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't justified.
The other one was
punching him in the head while driving.
That just doesn't make, no, I didn't do it. That doesn't make any sense. And what was the last one? Throw a knife? I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I don't have a reason to throw a knife at my dad. I don't want to kill him.
Let's take a look at what he says.
My dad and I fight pretty frequently because he just wants control. One time, he's just in one of his tyrannical moves one day just because I was getting money from him. And he just started talking about, I need to change my attitude. We got into a fight. He ended up swinging at me. So, of course, anybody off instinct is like, what's up? And it was a whole lot of pushing and shoving. I kind of kicked him out the door. But as he was going out the door, he called me a crazy bitch.
I had to call the police once on my daughter. I was cooking some Brussels sprouts in a bag. They're frozen. You just put them in the microwave. The bag popped. And Diana got real excited. She jumped up and she hollered. And I said to her, it's all right. You know, it's just Brussels sprouts.
I heard them pop in the microwave and I opened it. And my dad was like, don't touch it. And we just started arguing over that. And the police got called.
She started throwing things at me. Glasses, container of dishes. The same day, that's when she attacked me from behind and hit me in the back of my head.
I was fighting with my sister, and next thing I know, I feel it in the back of my head. I went crazy. I just kind of pulled her over my shoulder, pulled her, and then right in the eye. And then I felt bad because that's my little sister. So, of course, my dad hears baby girl screaming, and he comes to her rescue. And we're fist fighting at this point. I call the police for help, and I tell them, watch out, there's some wicked energy in there. Don't get sucked into it.
So, which is true? You punch him in the head or you don't?
Of course, if someone's going to hit me, I'm going to hit them back, but I'm not swinging first.
But that's different than what you told me before.
Yeah, I didn't mean any deception by that, though.
Okay, I accept your apology.
I guess. Thanks.
Robert says that his daughter must be possessed by a demon because he has heard her speaking in tongues. I don't believe that either. But I'm going to tell you what I do believe, and I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen here right after the break.
Monday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I started seeing aliens who were having a bonfire.
She believes she is being electronically targeted.
That whole mind game is what they play.
Tell me who they are.
That's Monday.
Closed captioning provided by...
Moving. That's harder now because of psoriatic arthritis. But you're still moved by moments like this. Don't let psoriatic arthritis take them away. Taltz reduces joint pain and stiffness and helps stop the progression of joint damage. For people with moderate to severe psoriasis, 90% saw significant improvement. Taltz even gives you a chance at completely clear skin. Don't use if you're allergic to Taltz. Before starting, you should be checked for tuberculosis. Taltz may increase risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, symptoms, or received a vaccine or blistering. Inflammatory bowel disease can happen with Taltz, including worsening of symptoms. Serious allergic reactions can occur. For all the things that move you, ask your doctor about Taltz.
Salonpas. We're the world leader in medicinal pain patches. Latest innovation, Salonpas Lidocaine, using hydrogel-based technology with the maximum strength lidocaine you can buy without a prescription. Salonpas Lidocaine. Nothing is proven stronger or more effective against pain.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
I was going to go to school for nursing when I got in the wreck. I was 18. I didn't think that would ever happen to me.
Accidents happen, good weather or bad. And those insurance companies are still trying to take advantage of the little guy.
If I ever hear of anybody having something wrong, like, call Milk.
Combine the right things and something amazing happens. That's our inspiration for Fancy Feast medleys. Wild salmon primavera tastes amazing. Also in pate. Fancy Feast medleys.
Personally, I don't know whether you're Pocahontas reincarnated. I seriously doubt it. And I seriously doubt it because from everything that I've learned about Pocahontas, I don't think she would be behaving in the way you're behaving.
Well, my personal opinion on that is I wouldn't have a reason to be violent if I wasn't having any violent acts being put towards me. And I appreciate your opinion on you doubting my reincarnation, but I am full and set in my belief in that, and no one can take that away from me. And God told me, I understand, and I appreciate your honesty on that.
But you're willing to challenge it, right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, well, then you must not be very confident in it. So,
now I
really don't believe it. Now I really don't believe it.
I'm just trying to see where your head is at. And,
And I'll just speak to your parents and not you.
I mean, do what you gotta do, but I know my reincarnation, and I'm still gonna fulfill my mission,
You're now convincing me that it is just an excuse.
Oh, no.
Because you're running from examination, and so now
I'm in the here.
I don't think she really believes it.
I think I believe it. I want to know.
I don't know if she believes it or not. I believe she's in danger.
I think what you should do, if you really want to know, I think you should subject yourself to examination. And there's a place that I have great confidence in called Creative Care, which is out in Malibu, California here. And they do all kinds of evaluation. And based on that evaluation, they do determinations on rationality and irrationality of thought. They examine what your true beliefs are and give you a roadmap through your thinking to determine whether or not you're telling yourself the truth or you're misperceiving signs, signals, and cues along the way. And that's what I think you should do if you really want to know what the answers are.
Okay.
Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You're going to love the campus at Creative Care in Malibu.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I feel a little delusional myself right now, and I think I
thought you wish you were. Oh my gosh. I love that.
This is a nice place to go. Real terrifying event. The shocking stories of a battle behind the scenes to save lives. That's after the break.
Do you need Dr. Phil's help? Text Phil to 88500 and share your story for a chance to appear on the show.
but standard message and data rates may apply.
60% of women wear the wrong size pad and can experience leaks. You don't have to. With Always My Fit, try the next size up and get up to 20% better coverage day or night. Because better coverage means better protection. Always.
Knock, knock. It's Publishers Clearinghouse with our Forever Prize. Win $5,000 a week for your life. Then after that, someone you choose gets $5,000 a week for their life. Enter at PCH.com and February 28th. Win forever.
Attention oxygen therapy users. If you've been chained to an oxygen tank, then you know they're a burden. Tanks are often heavy and prevent you from traveling. Tanks keep you from living the life you love.
A friend of mine suffered with COPD. That's why I wanted to let you know about Inogen. A new way for you to have oxygen anytime, anywhere.
It's time to reclaim your independence with an Inogen One oxygen concentrator. Inogen makes its own oxygen from the air around you, so you'll never worry about running out of oxygen again. The Inogen One G4 is lightweight and compact. Plus, it's battery operated, so you can have oxygen anytime, anywhere. Imagine the freedom of doing the activities you love. Spending more time with family outdoors, even traveling again. Call now for your free information kit. There's no obligation. Inogen. Oxygen anytime, anywhere.
Call 1-800-917-8100. That's 1-800-917-8100. Get your free information kit. Call 1-800-917-8100.
KFC famous bowls are only $3. A whole pound of tasty food. But how? It's a famous pour of this, and some famous bits of that, and a famous chicken on top of all that stuff, and more gravy. KFC famous bowls, a whole pound of delicious food for only $3.
I use this every day, but his best soap is clean rinsing his Dove. My soap's still leaving plenty of things behind, but Dove is cleaner rinsing. My soap, Dove. Made with 1/4 moisturizing cream, Dove cleans and cares beautifully.
Winter weather.
Potentially creating some slippery roadways.
It can be downright dangerous.
That's when that cold air cuts in.
That's why you need a reliable weather team. A team of winter weather experts.
We're tracking a major storm moving into the Miami Valley.
Working round the clock to keep you safe.
Storm system just off to the south.
Storm Center 7 has the team and technology you need.
We are tracking lots of snow today.
For winter weather coverage you can count on.
Jeff Schmidt wants to buy your car. We handle the paperwork. You get a check. We buy cars at JeffDeals.com.
To hear the stories impacting your community right now,
All
you have to do is ask.
I'm News Center 7A girl Letitia Perry with
Keep up on the Miami Valley's top stories with News Center 7. Available right now on Amazon Echo and Dot. Storm Tracker 7, the mobile weather center that allows our team of expert meteorologists to be anywhere in the community. Storm Center 7 is weather coverage you can count on.
Hey, we are taping season 17 of Dr. Phil. But wait a minute, something's missing. Oh, it's you. We need an audience. So if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and want to watch a live taping, visit drphil.com and click Be in the Audience. Tickets are free, and I hope to see you soon. Come on, I'm all by myself. Just weeks ago, we watched shocking and heartbreaking images of people fleeing for their lives, desperately trying to escape what is being called the deadliest, most destructive wildfire in California history. That fire, known as the Camp Fire, raged for 2 weeks and decimated the small town of Paradise in Northern California.
Thousands of homes and businesses are gone as the Camp Fire rages on.
The Camp Fire north of Sacramento has destroyed more than 6,700 structures and consumed more than 90,000 acres.
The Camp Fire exploded in intensity, filling the sky with toxic smoke.
Oh my God.
Firefighters and rescue workers were overwhelmed with 911 calls as the fire surrounded people in their homes and cars trying to escape.
The winds are absolutely relentless. This fire is destroying everything in its path.
There have been harrowing accounts of people literally abandoning their vehicles
and getting out to run for their lives.
Hey, Connor, please help us.
Surrounded by walls of flames, whipped by winds of 50 miles per hour. People drove through hell trying to escape.
Everything is burning up around us.
There was very little time for the 27,000 people who live in paradise to evacuate.
We grabbed our animals and some food and some clothes, and we're getting the heck out of here.
Absolutely devastating. The entire town of Paradise is gone.
Residents of Paradise and Regalia are still coming to terms with the unprecedented devastation. More than 6,000 homes and businesses destroyed.
The number of missing people has jumped dramatically. The death toll keeps climbing, and of course, the destruction is overwhelming. Dozens are dead, hundreds are still missing, and more bodies are being recovered every day.
Stories have emerged about how brave firefighters not only contained this catastrophic fire, but also did everything in their power to keep the residents of Paradise alive and safe. One such story is that of the Paradise Fire Chief himself. Take a look.
As hundreds began fleeing, they watched as their entire town burned to the ground. Firefighters from around the state trying their best to protect the community from the furious flames with no mercy in sight.
16-year-old Hallie is the last baby born at Feather River Hospital. Just moments after she arrived, the campfire began to surround the building.
It came up the speaker, evacuate the hospital, all patients need to be moved.
Our ambulance made it about half a mile before it began to literally melt in the flames.
I said goodbye to my husband and just told him to tell our kids that I love them.
I heard the ambulance in front of us is on fire.
Nurse Tamara Ferguson was in an ambulance behind Heather's. As the fire was consuming homes all around them, a stranger helped Heather get out of her ambulance and wheeled her up this driveway. They ran into David Hawks, Paradise's fire chief.
There's a dog door here that one of the paramedics made access to. We unlocked the garage, moved patients into this home and sheltered them in place.
What happened next was nothing short of amazing.
He said, you do this, you do this, you do this. And all of us shifted our minds to what do we need to do for survival mode here.
EMTs and nurses became stand-in firefighters. Some getting on the roof of this home, clearing gutters of brush, hosing down the outer edge of the property, saving this home, all while their patients were kept safe inside.
They followed directions. They did exactly what I asked them to do.
Amid a neighborhood devastated by the campfire, this home survived. So did all of the patients and medical staff inside.
Well, I've been dedicated to share the stories of our brave first responders in a series that I call Behind the Badge. And today is no different. Please give a warm welcome to Paradise Fire Chief David Hawks. Well, first, let me say thank you for your service, not just in this, but every day for what you do. It's just, it's amazing to me.
Thank you very much.
This has to be the most catastrophic fire you've ever been associated with, right?
I've been working for 35 fire seasons, and I've never seen anything this destructive, this rapidly developing, this widespread.
Yeah. You know, we think about fires, they come up and we think about them marching across a field or something like that. That's not how it works, is it? These things explode, right?
Absolutely. Fire is driven by three main factors: topography, of which slope is the most dominant, weather, of which wind is the most dominant, and fuels, of which, the dryness of the fuel. And obviously we hadn't had rain in Northern California for about 210 days. So those three things coupled together help to drive this fire.
So like 90 to 95% of the homes in Paradise are just gone, right?
Yes. About 12,500 residential structures in Paradise, of which about 90 to 95% have been destroyed.
Look at these pictures.
Yeah.
And like 70 to 80% of the businesses are gone.
There is a really good and clear vision to rebuild the town of Paradise. Obviously, it's going to take some time.
How many of your first responders actually lost their homes in the fire.
There's about 37 career firefighters in Butte County that lived in Paradise and the surrounding areas that lost their home. They're retired firefighters that lost homes.
And, they stay on the job and stay on the fire line and keep fighting the fire, even though they know across town their own home is going up. You're very humble about all of this, but your leadership in that situation shone through with the discipline and professionalism of all the men. And that leadership and professionalism saved a lot of lives, Chief, and we just want to acknowledge that. So, when we come back, how do these brave first responders, as well as the residents of the towns affected by these fires, cope with the aftermath and trauma that they've endured? We'll ask and talk about that after the break.
That pieces get stuck under my extension, but Super Polygrip gives him a tight seal to help block out food particles so he can enjoy the game. Super Polygrip.
Oh my gosh, this makes me sick. It's Devin's Worry Monster. I look forward to this reunion for Phil Devin. So that's what, just water under the bridge? Water under the Dill Hole Bridge?
After walking 6 miles at an amusement park, Bill's back needed a vacation from his vacation. So he stepped on the Dr. Scholl's kiosk. It recommends our best custom fit orthotic to relieve foot, knee, or lower back pain so you can move more. Dr. Scholl's, born to move.
Daddy diaper duty. I can't say it's the highlight of fatherhood, but I'd rather be here with my little man than not be here because of migraine. I had 3 words for migraine. I am here.
Aimovig, a preventive treatment for migraine in adults, reduces the number of monthly migraine days. For some, that number can be cut in half or more. The most common side effects are pain, redness or swelling at the injection site, and constipation. Talk to your doctor about Aimovig and be there more.
If you've been injured at work, remember that under Ohio law, as an injured worker, you have an absolute right to choose your own doctor. Let my firm protect your right to choose your doctor and get the treatment and compensation you deserve. Call 1-800-INJURED and get the Tiger on your side.
The pain level was over 10. There's days where I just sat and cried and asked the good Lord to take me. And my doctor recommended that I go to Good Feet and try the arch supports. And it took about 3-4 steps. Turned around and went and sat back down and started to cry. It was the first time that I had no pain. I'm not an actor. I want people to know my testimony. I want them to know what arch supports can do from Good Feet. See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
It's the final weekend of Furniture Fair's New Year's sale. Your last chance to pay cash and save up to 50% off the lowest prices in town. Or no interest financing for 72 months. The New Year's sale, final week, only at Furniture Fair.
If you haven't picked it up yet, you've got to get the WHI weather app. The best part is knowing exactly when dangerous weather is coming into our area. It'll send you alerts for your current location, and you can customize alerts for anywhere in the Miami Valley or across the country. It has sophisticated technology that pinpoints your location, so you only get alerts that matter to you. Check out the interactive radar to see what's headed our way. You can even get custom forecasts from me and the whole Storm Center 17. Carry weather coverage you can count on anywhere you go with the WHIO weather app.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, live strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
I'm speaking with Paradise Fire Chief David Hawks, who just weeks ago, along with other brave first responders, battled the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history. What's the toll that it takes on these first responders after the fact?
Well, obviously, during the firefight, it takes a mental and physical toll on the firefighters. They're gone, many of them, for days on end before they get more difficult for them to get time off and just disengage from the day-to-day activity of firefighting
and save some people's lives, because you look at those ambulances, there was no way they were getting out, right?
Yes.
So you stand and make your fight right there and fight the fire off.
Yeah, basically we established a temporary refuge area at that house. We just used it for shelter. I told the people there, the nurses, the paramedics, that stay here and ride it out. It was going to get hot and smoky, and it did. But then I felt we would be okay. And yeah.
Well, listen, we do this program called Behind the Badge because we just want to remind people that there are real human beings, men and women with families and lives behind those badges of first responders, and just remind people. So, I mean, guys, when you see these first responders on the street, honk, wave, stop, take a minute, shake hands, thank them for what they do, give them a hug, just let them know that you realize the sacrifices they made, because they make every day, because they are huge. And like I say, I just want to thank you for your service, and we just wanted to recognize you and as a representative of all the first responders from CAL FIRE and in Paradise for the work that you do. And just God bless you and thank you very much. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Paradise Fire Chief David Hawks, as well as Creative Care. And thank you, and we'll see you next time.
This week in WHI Reports, we're talking about education in the Miami Valley. Our focus is on expansion and improvements coming to the Greene County Career Center. Join us Sunday morning at 11:30 for WHI Reports.
0 calories, make nature's sweetener even sweeter. Pick nature's calorie-free sweetness. Pick Trivia.
Hi, I'm Murphy. And I'm Mike with Mattress Innovations. When our family started this company over 20 years ago, we set out to do things differently. Make a better mattress for less money.
Mattress Innovations saves you more. The factory is our store.
If you want news, local news customized to you, right down to your neighborhood, get the Dayton Daily News app for your phone and tablet. Leave the news to us, or create your own customized feed. Set up notifications for the news that's most important to you. Find out what's really going on in your community. The free, customizable Dayton Daily News app. Get your news on your time. Go to the App Store and download the Dayton Daily News app today. On the next wheel,
A lifelong dream is to be here. Yes, Pat, all my life I've been watching Wheel of Fortune. It's always been my dream, and here I am. I'm living my dream. There you go.
Wheel of Fortune, tonight at 7 on Channel 7. Before her big Golden Globes honor, our Friday flashback with the legendary Carol Burnett. Next ET, tonight at 7:30 on Channel 7. WHIO-TV, your home for Super Bowl 53. Tonight, 9/8 Central, catch a new Hawaii 5-0 on CBS.
Here it comes from the Bob Barker Studio at CBS in Hollywood. It's The Price is Right. Jennifer Galloway, come on down. Stuart Chris, come on down. Joel Lansberg, come on down. And Katie Jin, come on down. You are the first one contestant on The Price is Right. And now, here's your host, Drew Carey. So glad you could tune in. Good luck, everybody. Let's get this show started with the first prize up today on The Price is Right. We're going to kick things off with a bumper pool table. Play the classic game of bumper pool on this game table, featuring 5-inch square legs for a solid base and an internal ball return system. Got an amber on one. That's good. So the bumper pool table goes whoever bids closest to the actual retail price without going over. That's how we do it. Jennifer, we'll start with you. What do you say?
$5.95.
$5.95. 86. Katie.
900.
900. Actual retail price is $6.99. How are you? Welcome to the show. How are you? How are you? Oh, you okay? All right, good. Nice to see you. Jennifer, where are you from?
The next just come.
How long have you been trying to get on the show?
Oh, God. Since I was about 6.
She's been watching the show for 20 years and she was 6 years old. What do we have for her?
Jennifer, you can kick off the new year with the latest and greatest tech, fashion, and kitchen gear. First, hit the stores and upgrade all of your favorite smart devices with $3,500. Next, revamp your wardrobe with $1,200 from Zappos.com, offering a variety of footwear, apparel, and accessories from name brand designers. And then enjoy a $2,000 gift card from Zappos.com, an independent retailer of electronics, appliances, and virtually anything for your home. It's a prize worth $6,700.
Thank you, Devin. This game is called Secret X. It's just tic-tac-toe, basically. Now, behind one of those question marks, we have an X hidden. Could be at the top, could be in the middle, could be at the bottom. I don't know. But I know when you were 6 years old, you were playing tic-tac-toe, right? Yeah, so I'm going to give you a free X to start out with. Put it on any... All right. Puts it in the center. I have a chance for you to win 2 more X's, which will come in handy, so you can get tic-tac-toe. But we're going to you have to know the price of the humidifier and the juicer. George, tell us all about it, please.
I would love to, Drew. This ultrasonic humidifier has a 1.6 gallon capacity and features dual warming and cooling mist modes. And they fresh squeezed OJ in this electric juicer, which has an 80-watt motor and a drip-free spout.
$70 or $125? $70.
Oh shit.
$70.
Are you still here?
Hey, Jennifer. You have one tic-tac-toe right now. And you can't get another tic-tac-toe after this. You're going to have one tic-tac-toe anyway because you put the first X right here. So I'm going to tell you how to play. If I come over here, you're done. Jennifer, let's try for the juicer for that. 160 or 250?
160.
160. It is 160. Put that anywhere you want, just for the heck of it. Yeah, that's good. Jennifer, put up here. Now we have to hook the X's in the middle for you to be a winner. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello?
Let's get another contestant up here. Go ahead. It's going to be Lauren Wood. Come on down.
Hi. I'm being sick as a dog. Yeah, I don't feel bad. It's just my damn throat. I can't speak. I didn't see you were in the room. I should have had the camera turned around. I was cooking. Bear was helping me. He was eating the butter that fell on the floor. That's so nasty. He didn't even chew it. So my my other phone is working. I called dumbass Chris. I need a man to do some work around here. He's like, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? I said, I heard you got a girlfriend. He said, no, I was just telling people that. Well, stupid little things. I don't care. He is, because he's a retard. And I pissed my pants. Well, I pissed my pants when I coughed. What'd you say? Yeah, I'm gonna start buying those diapers. Then I won't, because I noticed Diana never washes any underwear because I guess she wears diapers all the time. Good Lord. Hell, I pissed the other day. Who did? Diana? Oh. They're supposed to bring my bed today. Listen, how stupid. Yeah, a new bed. Isn't that crazy? From where? Mattress Firm. They're all, it's crazy. So I guess I'll keep this old one, let Chris lay on it, because he sure as fuck ain't sleeping with me. And I'll rent it out like an Airbnb. I'll make some damn money up in this bitch. I don't give a fuck about that bitch. We need to get some of that software that changes your voice. And I'm gonna have so much fun.